AJ, and it's something to do on a Saturday. And with summer just around the corner, there's stuff to do right here in Ashtabula County. Let's head over to Conneaut and visit with the city manager, Jim Hockaday, and find out what's going on in Conneaut. Come on, let's go. So as promised, I am here with Conneaut City Manager, Jim Hockaday, and we are talking Conneaut today. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm happy to be here, so thanks for setting this up, and I'm happy to give you anything you're looking for in terms of information Conneaut. So. All
right. So what is your favorite thing about Conneaut? What are you most proud of when it comes to Conneaut?
Well, that is a tough question, because there's a lot of favorite things to like. You know, in terms of just picking one thing specifically, I would say the most unique thing in Conneaut is the D-Day Festival. And what always surprises me is the number of people from Ashtabula County that have never been to D-Day. So D-Day has both a national and international draw to it. And it's just amazing. And the best part of D-Day, in my opinion, I know the reenactment's a big deal, but I think the absolute most unique part of D-Day is the presentation of medals by the French consulate. And it's where those gentlemen that served in D-Day, actually served in D-Day, they're D-Day veterans, have gone through the process of filing with the French government, and they are awarded the French Legion of Honor, which is, you know, kind of the French equivalent of the Medal of Freedom or Medal of Honor in the United States, but it is the highest award that can be given to a non-French citizen. The French government actually takes it incredibly seriously. The French consulate, the embassy mission to the United States is divided into 6. So there are 6 French consulates outside of the embassy in Washington, D.C. And depending on where those gentlemen that served were that have qualified for this honor, they send whatever consulate rep for that area. Now, generally the Midwest is served by Chicago and the East Coast is served by Pennsylvania. But if they're gentlemen from both areas, they'll send both consulates here to Conneaut to present those medals.
Oh wow! So if you've been at a D-Day presentation in the past and seen this isn't people just acting or playing a part. This is something that's really going on.
These are the real veterans that were there in D-Day that have gone through the process with the French government, and obviously the D-Day group helps them do this. If they served, they fill out the background information for them. The investigation into their service takes about a year to qualify them. And I will tell you some of the service and commitment of service of those people, just unbelievable stories. I mean, guys who flew airplanes and were shot down and were in POW camps.
Oh my gosh.
Anything and everything. There was a telecommunications officer a couple years back, and he remembers because he was 17 years old at the time. He lied about his age to enlist, and he was set up to recapture the largest radio tower in France, which is obviously the Eiffel Tower. And they had to fight their way in from D-Day inland. I think he landed D-Day +5 and fought his way inland into mainland France. And then the Germans sabotaged the radio equipment once they left Paris, and he was retasked with essentially rewiring the Eiffel Tower. And I thought, you know, of all the 18-year-olds over here thinking, well, I'm going to go to Europe backpacking for the summer. That was quite a different backpacking experience.
I guess so.
For this gentleman. And you know, what's amazing is just the stories these guys have, and it is humbling. It is just astonishing to me how amazing some of these stories are. And if you get to see nothing else during D-Day, 11 o'clock, it's the same time every year, 11 o'clock on that Saturday of D-Day weekend, that is truly a lot of history. And you got to remember, most of these guys are now in the mid-90s. our World War II generation is disappearing quite rapidly at this point. So, but if you get to nothing else, go to that. And it's one of the few times, if I would say the only time, where the state of Ohio is visited by a foreign mission to bestow medals on Ohio citizens. And I mean, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen anywhere else. So that's really unique. That is just something different. And no matter where I go or what I do in the future, I will always remember that. That's something I've had the opportunity to be a part of every year since.
That's incredible living history right in our backyard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and it's awesome. I mean, besides that, they have, the reenactors and all that kind of stuff, but just the capital equipment that these folks bring in, and it's living history. I remember there was a guy with a BMW bike, like the Indiana Jones, the motorcycle with the sidecar and the MG machine gun on the mounted on the car. And, the guy standing there is in full uniform, and this young kid comes up and asks, he's like, "Can I sit on it?" He goes, "Yeah, sure, go crazy." Which is awesome, because it's not like a museum where, hey, I want to touch it, hey, I want to feel it. This is their personal equipment. Several of the guys are perfectly okay with a kid saying, "I want to touch it." And I said, "That's it." I even said something to him. I said, "That's amazing. I think it's very generous of you to allow a child to sit on this motorcycle and, kind of experience it firsthand." And I said, "I can't imagine the money it cost for the bike." And he was joking with me, and he goes, "Oh, I don't care about the motorcycle. It was nothing compared to the cost of that machine gun on it. And the machine gun was $36,000.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So, I mean, these collections are pretty significant. There are 14 pieces of armor that are generally here, fully operational armor, everything from Tigers to Shermans to everything in between, and it's an astonishing show. So, I don't know where else you go see that. Believe it or not, the D-Day Museum in Normandy, France went bankrupt a couple years ago.
Oh,
so even if you go to Normandy, you can't see this stuff anymore. So truly amazing. It's really iconic stuff, and it's hard to say that there's something more amazing than that, because that would be hard to top.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't know where we go from there, because that is amazing. So I know it's tough to say at this point because it's early.
Yeah.
Are you able to speculate as to is there a plan to go forward with D-Day on maybe a different scale than what we're used to seeing, or are you waiting until?
That's a great question. So, under the ODH orders right now, festivals and events are still technically prohibited. So we can speculate. Hopefully cases continue to go down, things continue to improve, and of course I'm saying this in March, and who knows where we are in May, hopefully in a lot better position than today even. But I think reasonably we can assume we're kind of planning that festivals and events are going to occur this year. But we can't say for sure, because we're not in control of that, and we'll listen to whatever the president or the governor or whatever health agency like ODH is going to issue whatever rules, and of course we'll abide by them. But even last year, I thought D-Day did some neat things. They utilized their museum a little more. Most people don't realize it, but they do have a museum here in Conneaut as well that you can come visit that does have regular hours. And I know they want to continue to augment their museum capacity. So.
Cool. And we'll get you the link for the museum in the comments.
Yeah.
Tim's really good about doing that.
Well, it's fun. If you haven't ever been to it, it's fun. It's amazing. And I'll put one more plug. There is this place called Hunky's that is one of the food vendors there for all the sausages and sauerkrauts and stuff like that. I always joke with people, and I said if it was really just that vendor out in the middle of the field, I'd probably still go. The food is amazing. So
Yum.
Food. It's a way to anybody's heart is food. So it's a great event. So we're hoping all our events, obviously Perch and Pilsner had 2 years in there. We're hoping they can finally have their third year. The Soapbox Derby, that's usually right around Father's Day. We're hoping that's back this year. So we have, the MS bike ride. We have a whole bunch of events that we're hoping can reemerge this year, post-pandemic, and continue to thrive because they're great events, and we can tell. From a tourism perspective, you can tell when those events aren't happening. I mean, it affects your bed tax numbers. We know our restaurants and other things feel it when we don't have all those people in town because they eat and sleep and do all those things, and that comes back into our local economy. So,
which is always a good thing.
yes, so we would love to have them back. So is the short answer. So we're hoping things continue to get better here, and everybody can go out and enjoy themselves and kind of normalize life again.
Yes. Now, from a personal standpoint, other than D-Day, what do you like to do when you are hanging out in Conneaut?
Well, I will tell you one of the newer. I'll highlight something new. So it used to be known as the Hagstrom's Garage. It's sold. It's changed several owners, so I won't call it that. We call it the One Welcome Road property now, but it is occupied by a company called the Conneaut Float and Fly. So if you haven't had a chance, you can rent a canoe or kayak from them, and you can float all the way down Conneaut Creek and get pulled back out. They have a couple different trips depending on water levels and how far you want to go, and so on and so forth. But if you're a novice kayaker and you're looking for an opportunity to do that, it's awesome. Now the fly part is they also have fly fishing guides associated with them. So right now at the time of this filming, right now is the hot steelheading time. This is probably one of the hottest weeks of the year right now. You can hook up with a fly guide. They'll take you fly fishing. They have their own tying tables and benches and stuff in there, so if you want to learn how to tie your own flies, you just need to go in there and buy material to tie your own flies, whatever the case may be. They have it all right there. Great little new entrepreneur. Courtney Phobes is the owner, Courtney Phobes and Company. So they do a great job there. That's right there off of Welton Road.
Okay.
Right where Route 7 comes across the Conneaut Creek. Great new little business. They did very well last year, which was their first year, and this last fall and this spring their first fly fishing season's open. So that's an awesome little opportunity, something totally different, something you really can't get anywhere else in Ashtabula County. So you can get all your supplies there, you can get guides there, you can do just about anything you want. So it's a great little opportunity. And this summer we're actually going to be installing a launch ramp there to aid with that, because right now they're just going up and down the hill bank, and we want to preserve that hill bank a little bit and be able to assist people going in and out, so we don't have anybody that rolls down the hill trying to carry a kayak. So that in conjunction with the Little Indian Mound Metro Park, which opened last year as well, that entire river corridor from there to the Creek Road, just about, I would say 90% of that is publicly accessible at this point. So
Nice.
Pretty awesome. If you are a steelhead fishing enthusiast, which I am, that is really unparalleled access to rivers within a municipality. It's all within a city, so that's pretty amazing. Even if it weren't in a city, it would be amazing that much of the river would be accessible to anyone who wants to fish. So you can fish from the bank, fish from the shore. Obviously, we're going to have some additional maps coming out to kind of look at those designated areas, but between a variety of groups, including there's a Conneaut Creek Conservation Club, there's ODNR owns quite a bit of property now.
Yes, we did a segment with Matt last year.
Yeah, and Matt's wonderful. I think
he's great.
And if you really look at the total assets that are now considered public along there, it's really shocking. Our next big thing there is we were trying to go through the process to get Conneaut Creek designated as a water trail, which means it'll start appearing on all the statewide maps. It'll have signage about public access and parking and amenities. So we are in the process of doing that with ODNR in the state of Ohio. So hopefully here in the next year or two we'll get that water trail designation here, and then our I know there's some talk at the County Visitors Bureau level that hopefully we can do that with the Ashtabula River, the Grand River, and Pymatuning. So
Wow, that's exciting.
it is. So there's lots of fun river stuff, and far be it from me to mention one, but we actually have two kayaking outfitters in Conneaut. Harbor Yak operates a facility right out of the Port Authority, right down on the recreational port side. They are actually going to be moving from the west side of the marina to the north side of the marina. And I know our Conneaut Port Authority is trying to do some improvements for them to do, the standing launches where they have the little floating launch things, which are much safer and much easier to do, particularly for novices like me. So you don't kill yourself getting it out of your kayak onto a lake. So they've done great there the last several years, and it's fun. You go in and around the harbor there. Harbor's a lot of fun. The sandbar, water's going down, so the sandbar's kind of back. So we're hoping that'll get opened up this year as well. So kind of some new things, but a lot of the old standards. So thankfully, lake levels continue to drop, and let's hope they continue to drop because we're still about 8 feet over a crested high on Lake Erie. So. We got quite a bit of ways to go, but we're down about 37 inches, so kind of down from the crisis stage.
Yeah.
So.
And the lake is a beautiful place to kayak. If you have never kayaked on the lake, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And especially, if you've been fearful of kayaking in the past, because, it is intimidating to get on a river where there's moving water, but the lake is just, on a good day is just very flat and very relaxing, and you can just kind of paddle around and enjoy what Ashtabula County has to offer.
Well, the YMCA has done intro to kayaking classes, so I know when we talk about some of the outfitters, they're kind of like, here's your gear, let's go. But for those people that are looking for an actual kayaking how-to class, basic safety, those kinds of things, I know the Ashtabula County YMCA has offered that. They do that through their mobile YMCA, and at one point they were renting a building that was temporarily vacant down in the harbor. So hopefully post-pandemic that reemerges, and they continue to do some of the kayaking education classes. So.
Yes. So check the YMCA for their boater safety classes, and I'll get a link for that as well.
Yeah. So. We talked about some of the other new stuff. We'll talk about some of the other forthcoming stuff. So I don't know that this will affect anybody locally because I don't know that locals necessarily go to it, but those people that watch this show that might be traveling in from out of town, the rest stop, the ODOT rest area, the actual rest area center is being demolished and rebuilt this year. So I don't know, I think it might be out the bid. I don't know that it's been awarded yet, but the drawings are complete. My understanding is that their tentative plans are the weekend after Memorial Day, which is obviously one of the busiest travel days of the year. They're going to close it and then demolish it. If you've been to the Conneaut rest area, you kind of know what it looks like. It was in the 70s when that thing was constructed. It's almost like a cave. It was intended to be a very, I call it sustainable building. So it was built underground. It got kind of a concrete bunker, if you will, and it had the green ceiling and the grass roof and all those kinds of things. But it usually equated it to being very dimly lit and dark and dungeony, and it's certainly done its tour of duty here in Conneaut. So it's time to go, and they're going to be replacing it with this big, bright, open, airy timber frame structure with tons of glass on it. So it'll be a very, very different experience from what's out there presently. So I'm really thankful the state of Ohio has made a commitment to update those rest areas.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so, in the meantime though, I would say if people are concerned, like, well, where do I stop? How can I stop? I don't know that I would have made this recommendation a couple of years ago, but get off at the Route 7 exit. There are now 2 travel centers there, Love's and the new Truck World facility. If you have not been in the truckload bathroom rooms, and this is kind of a weird recommendation, but they are amazing. They're all marble.
Oh, wow.
They're incredible. Really nice facility there, easy to get in and out of. So when the rest area is not available and you need to stop and take a break, one of those two places would serve anybody pretty well. So that's kind of my pitch for an alternative in the meantime. So,
Okay.
but they do get busy during the summer. I know before Truck World was operational in 2019, my goodness, it was overwhelming. You go out there and sit for 30 minutes waiting to get in line for gas. So
wow.
it was very jam-packed. So we're hoping the crowds are back this year. There should be twice the capacity there. So
Excellent. That's nice. That's good to hear.
it is. So as far as kind of the overall market, we get this question a lot: is what does it look like? And travel during the pandemic has just changed. It hasn't gone away. It's not disappeared in any way, shape, or form. It's more the types of travel have changed. Destination travel is as big or even bigger than it was in 2019. Still today, even last year, when we looked at the County Visitors Bureau, they finished at about 95% of the 2019 in 2020, and that was with no travel allowance between March and May.
Yeah.
So that's a tough point to recover from. But we know late summer, as people were like, I need to get away somewhere. They traveled a lot more locally, but they tended to travel destination based. So the difference is corporate travel has nearly vanished. So when we look at the tourism industry, it didn't hit them in a monolithic square way across the board. So business travel is down, an appreciable reduction in business travel. So things like Zoom and to be able to telecommunicate without having to personally travel there has I think and will continue to impact the business stay, corporate travel, corporate retreats, those kinds of things. I think they're going to stay suppressed for a while. But as far as visitorship travel, I think it's going to be up a lot, frankly. So things that tend to be more popular right now are like little B&Bs, Airbnbs, those kinds of things. I know Airbnb created a certification process for its lodgers. So they have like a COVID protocol or a cleaning protocol where they put the owners through a training thing, and there's a certification program. They have to do certain X, Y, Z in order to meet those compliance standards. That became very popular and it was easily adaptable. So I think we're going to see increased bookings again this year over that kind of, I'll call it the mom and pop lodging. The smaller, independent lodgers, whether that's VRBO or Airbnb. I think those are going to continue to be way up. I think the bigger hotels and more corporate travel is going to continue to be down a little bit. But I think people are just ready for this to be over and ready to get back to normal, and I'm with them. So
Yes, absolutely. We're all ready to do something fun.
yes, yep. So that's really kind of where I see it going. That's my opinion, just based on what I've seen. Is I think we're going to continue to see demand for destination travel continue to increase, and I think it will explode this year. So hopefully all those small lodgers do very well, and we hope they continue to do well. And even the bigger hotels and resorts, I hope they're able to capture some of that travel because they need it.
Definitely. But it's just it's a reminder to local folks to get out there and start supporting your local restaurants and some of those other businesses now, because you may be standing in line here midsummer waiting behind people who have chosen to come from someplace else
Sure.
to enjoy what we kind of take for granted in the past.
Well, and there's differences. So and of course, once we start talking about crossing state lines or the Canadian border, I believe it's still closed at this juncture. It's very different. So you look at like a Disney or something like that, they still have park caps on the number of people that they'll fit in there at a time. So I think if you went there, it wouldn't be crowded necessarily. But when you look at it from a business model, it means they're serving that many fewer clients. well, that demand's going to go somewhere else. So, and if people are feeling more comfortable knowing what's close to home, they're going to do more of those staycations. And honestly, in a former life, I was the village administrator at Geneva on the Lake, and 2008 actually helped Geneva on the Lake. That sounds very backwards, but people didn't go on the mega trips. They went on, we're going to do a smaller summer family vacation, stuff like camping, motorhoming, that kind of stuff became more popular. And really that popularity, I would say starting at that economic crisis through today is continuing to show growth. So you look in a pandemic year, people getting motorhomes, traveling out west, traveling more locally, staying at camping grounds, spending a little more time with family rather than going to mega amusement parks. I think that trend also continues. So when you are in a place like Conneaut and we have over 2 square miles of parkland within the city borders, we have a tremendous waterfront, a great recreational port to Lake Erie, a wild and scenic river that you can kayak and fly fish off of. I think those are all good things. Those are all positives for us.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely a reason to visit, whether you're from the county or not.
Right. Well, and honestly, it's true of just about all of the county. So we're all kind of in the same boat here. So I think that ecotourism, things continue to increase and continue to multiply in their intensity for people wanting to come visit.
Yes, because we do have a unique and beautiful little corner of Ohio.
We do.
So if you had one thing that you would like people to walk away from with during this video, if they say, okay, I watched this video and boom, what is that one thought you would like people to walk away with?
Well, I think, one, staying safe, get your vaccines if you haven't got one. Maybe they're all given out by May, I don't know. But, do that. They're free. If you're here from Conneaut, our health department is doing a great job. Right now, we're basically at no wait right now. So if you called today, you could probably get in within the next week or so. They would call you back and get you scheduled. So they've done a tremendous job of doing that. Stay safe. Continue to be mindful of it. So we don't have to go back into a 2020 situation. And then 3, understand that a lot of these local businesses, just took a loss on a year, and if they survived 2020 and they're here in 21, it means it's usually because they're strong business operators, they run a good business, and they were able to survive. So go visit them.
Feed the phoenix, because they have rose from the ashes.
Yes. So and I think they're kind of counting on people coming out this year and helping them out. And there's so many great businesses. Everything from kind of the old standards, if you will, like the white turkey, to something that is kind of new. We're going to have a number of new businesses in our little uptown harbor area, up there by Park and Erie streets. We have quite a few new little shops going in there. Right where Charlie's Deli is, that just opened next to Biscotti's, which has been there for 20 years. The Port Conneaut Credit Union building got rehabbed, and it looks great.
Awesome.
There's a real estate office in there. There's a new little custom crafts homemade soap shop in there called Sandbar Suds. They literally just opened. The former Basil's Cafe is under construction right now. That is going to be a new breakfast place called Crispy Biscuit.
Ooh, that sounds good.
There's a coffee shop on that street now called Rye Market. And there's about a dozen new businesses that are set up in that little area, and I'm not going to spoil their open yet, but keep your eye out for that little area. It's pretty up and coming. I think people are going to be really surprised with how much new investment, how many new businesses are going to be coming into the area down there.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
We love to see that kind of growth. That's always good for Ashtabula County.
Absolutely.
Well, I thank you for taking the time today to share Conneaut with us and encouraging folks to just come out and enjoy this nice little corner of the world that's ours.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.